everybody. It's your podcast, Sister Lisa, and thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to discover new music, then you've come to the right place. I'd like to welcome my guest, Jyka, the talented country singer-songwriter and musician from Finland, who also travels halfway across the world to record great music in Nashville, and he's here to talk about his music and more. Welcome, Jyka. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you as well. And, you know, when I was looking at your background, it's fascinating because most Americans, you know, probably don't know a lot about Finland, not, you know, let alone know that country music is even popular in Finland. I mean, I didn't know. And I was so happy, you know, to have you on the show to talk about country music that you're creating both in Finland and Nashville. But I have to ask you first, when did you know that you wanted to become a country singer?
Oh, that's gotta be like probably 1978, I would say. I mean, thanks to my mom, I grew up listening to a lot of good old country music. I mean, she introduced me to Merle Haggard and John Prine, Johnny Paycheck. I think the moment that I remember, I got this, it was Christmas Eve, 1978. I got this American plastic toy truck, Peterbilt. I think that was Peterbilt. And there was a tape attached to my Christmas gift, truck driver songs. And the first song was Working Man Blues from Merle Haggard. And I mean, that's the first country song I ever heard in my life. And I just got hooked straight away. And a week later, I mean, I tried to play my mom's guitar. And a week later at the New Year's Day, my mom actually set up me a stage on our brown leather couch in our living room. And I remember we had these two really heavy green cast iron foot lamps, and she kind of pointed those out as my stage lights. That was the moment when I knew that I would definitely kind of become some kind of a musician. I didn't know probably if I'd be a hard rock or a country musician at that point, but I knew that I want to perform.
Well, that's wonderful. Your mom certainly has good taste in music. And
yes.
I want to ask you also, when did you start performing live on stage in front of audiences? At what age?
I think I was probably 14 when I had my first shows. I mean, I grew up in a small town. I'm a true blue collar kid from a small town in Finland. And I mean, you either had to choose sports or sports. And I kind of added music on that same equation a little bit. And we started touring with our first heavy metal band when we were 13, 14.
Oh, I love it.
And I mean, I'm actually a professional bass player. So it's kind of funny that I found myself playing acoustic guitar and playing country music 25, 35 years later.
Yeah. So your English is terrific. So you're born and raised in Finland. Did they teach you English in school or was it required?
Yeah, I mean, we study normally like 4 languages. I mean, I speak Finnish, Swedish, German, and English. But the thing with our English is that, I mean, they are teaching us the British English. And I mean, getting out of that kind of getting more into the American English, that was a hard part for me. And I mean, of course, I was growing up listening to a lot of music and reading all the lyrics from the album covers and trying to mimic what people were actually singing. So I think that's where it comes from. And I also worked for an American company for more than 20 years. So that's probably one of the
reasons. That's terrific. What do you also have a side business that you're doing? Like you said, you were working for someone. Is that in the music industry, or is it something, you know?
My background is heavily in denim and global sales. I mean, I worked for Levi's for more than 20 years. Uh, then I kind of started getting hired for other companies for building their global distribution. So that's my another background. But I'm currently full-time music. I mean, I have my own recording studio in Finland, and I do a lot of recording, production, mixing, all that, and I mean songwriting for other people as well. So that's where my kind of I wanted to jump off the corporate wheel and kind of get into what I love the most, and making music for myself, making music for other people, and trying to help people to make better music.
Well, I wanted to learn one Finnish word for this interview, and I looked up a word, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's sisu.
Oh,
And that means determination. And I thought of you, and I know you have that determination. And so there you go. That's my first word that I've learned in Finnish.
that's I think that's one of the words that probably describes the best a kind of a Finnish mentality. Because I mean that's kind of inbuilt for most of the Finns. I mean we don't give up. And funny you mentioned Sisu, because we just watched a movie. There's a movie called Sisu with a friend of mine last night.
Oh my gosh.
So that's and also I mean that describes me pretty well, because I mean I've been coming to Nashville for 20 years. I just decided one day that I really, really want to learn how to write country music. And I mean, me coming from a heavy metal background, it was not easy, but I just kept on coming. I think average 4-5 times a year. I flew in, listened to a lot of songwriters. What are they doing? How are they kind of constructing their songs and lyrics and everything? Flew back home, locked myself in my studio, and tried to kind of figure out what these people are doing. And here I am, writing songs with Grammy winners. I mean, I never ever expected anything like this to happen to myself.
Yeah, I think your life story and your musical journey is a perfect example about how you should never give up on your dreams. And when you first decided to come to Nashville and you booked that very first flight, and what did you tell your family, and what did they think, about it? And also, did you bring anyone with you?
No, I mean, I was traveling just by myself. I really wanted to focus on finding the essence of country music songwriting. That was my mission. I flew in just by myself. Everybody thought that you are freaking crazy. I mean, you don't do that. And I told them that, watch me do it. And 20 years later, here I am. So I guess that was all worth doing.
Absolutely. And I want to give our listeners a taste of your music. And I'm going to play snippet number 1, which is your song, Crack a Cold One. And when we come back, we're going to talk more music.
Singing at the top of my lungs. Find out a backroads radio on, singing at the top of my lungs on every drinking song. Parked by the river in my beat-up truck, cooler on the tailgate filled my mop with liquid foam. Bought the kiss that song and crack a cold one.
I love that song. It really has that country artist feel. I mean, I'm sure it is, welcomed in Finland and also a hit, I know, in Nashville. And it's definitely that pure country sound your voice has. And how does your songwriting differ when you're in Nashville from when you're in your studio in Finland?
I mean, I love writing just by myself, but I mean, I love writing even more with all these inspiring people around me. I mean, throwing in all these ideas and kind of maybe if we take that path and maybe we take that path or use that word. I mean, that's just a constant learning for me when I'm writing with these people here. I mean, they've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and I mean, it's a lot different from what I do at home because in my studio I kind of tend to get really deep on the instrumentation and finding the right pedal steel thing here and finding the perfect guitar there, and I kind of it feels very relieving for me to write these people here because I start hating myself in my own studio, just me. I hate producing myself. I mean, I'm my worst enemy. Under 2 minutes, we can, that artist you can, the producer you get, they just don't fit in the same space.
I can understand that. I really can. Where do you find your inspiration? Do you go somewhere special, whether you're in Nashville or Finland? Do you have a special way of becoming inspired for your songwriting?
That's actually a really good question because I mean, a lot of the songwriting here seems to happen kind of in a studio environment or a writing room environment. I mean, that at least that's how I see it. But when I'm back home, I listen to a lot of people. I listen to a lot of conversation, even on a grocery store, what people are talking about, how they are talking about, and I mean, we are really outdoorsy people in Finland, and I mean, I think the nature is kind of a perfect spot for me to filter all my ideas and instead of just jumping into writing something. So I mean, that's how it happens quite often.
So you're in Nashville right now, and you've been there for several weeks, and you're going to be heading back to Finland. I think you said in May, end of May, or
I'm actually heading back home on March 31st for a while, but I will be back soon.
So when I looked at your social media, I saw a post that you attended this year's CRS Country Radio Seminar, which is a huge event. And I've always wanted to go. And I'm so curious to ask you, was this your first time at the event? And it's where you learn and share ideas with others in the country music industry. The second part to that question is, what stands out in your mind about what you learned or, a highlight from that event?
First of all, I mean, this is my second year at CRS because I'm still kind of fairly new in country music. I mean, I released my first single March last year and my second single in October last year. So, I mean, last year I went there, I had no idea what's going to happen. I didn't know anyone. I just kind of dove in. This year, it was a lot easier already having my first radio tour kind of done. So I knew some people who introduced me to a lot of other people. What I love about CRS, which I never really thought of, I mean, I've heard of that, but I mean, people are talking about the country music family and the kind of the warm welcome for anyone who's kind of involved with country music. And I definitely felt that. I mean, I talked to a lot of people and I felt so welcome for all the conversations, and seemed like a lot of people were kind of interested in who is this guy with the weird name and weird looks, and I mean, kind of an interesting background as well. So, I mean, if you just have a chance to go there and experience that warm atmosphere, it'll be worth going.
And they had some big name entertainers there as well, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I mean,
it's a nice event to learn and to enjoy, network, and be entertained. So you can't go wrong
yeah,
there.
I think I printed a lot of business cards and I'm almost out of them already. I mean, I was just giving them away, and I mean, I've got some contacts already. So from people that I had conversations with. So I mean, I like that part as well, that networking part, because I mean, it's good for anyone's career, anyone's business as well. So there's some great contacts from those few
Yeah, you
days.
don't know. I might be there next year. I really want to go.
Well, that would be
Yeah,
great.
yeah. So I want to talk about another hit single of yours, Talking to Jesus Through a Bottle of Jack. And I know this is a very special song for you. Can you tell us about
Yeah.
this song and what inspired you to write it?
It's one of those songs that it really hits me hard every single time I perform it. Um, Sometimes it kind of gets a little bit too much under your skin because the story is such a special one for me. I wrote it for a friend of mine who passed away a couple of years ago. We knew each other since like 3, 4 year old, grew up in the same neighborhood, went through the same schools, had our first bands. Went out on our first heavy metal tours, and suddenly you just don't have that person in your life who you grew up with and you share all your thoughts and ideas and stories and griefs and whatever. We have this, as I said earlier, we are really outdoorsy in Finland, and we spend a lot of time fishing, going just hiking, or going out in the woods. I mean, that's one of the most relaxing spots in the world where you can go out in the woods. Me and a friend of mine, Yami, so we had this tradition that we went out for 2, 3 times a year. We always had a bottle of Jack Daniels with us, and we were always traveling with these decent whiskey glasses, because we don't want to throw the Dixie or Solo cups in our nature. So that's probably the reason. Yeah, I mean, after my friend's funeral, I felt like I really had to do this one last trip just by myself, and with a bottle of Jack and 2 whiskey glasses. And I feel like Yami was with me there when I was just sitting out there on a rock, and the whole song kind of started writing itself right at that moment. And I took the idea of the song here in Nashville with my producer Dale Oliver and our co-writer Dan Couch, who's one of my favorite writers. I mean, he's been writing for Cody Johnson and Kip Moore, LV Shane. Those guys kind of managed to help me get out of the story that I couldn't do just by myself, because I think the story was a little bit too personal for me to be able to have the right words around the lyrics. So that's the result of my pain and their professionalism.
It's a beautiful song that you wrote, and I want to play snippet number 2, featuring this song that you've dedicated to a great friend. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to play Talking to Jesus Through a Bottle of Jack. And when we come back, we'll talk more music.
Sunday morning, church bells ringing, children laughing, choir singing. an amazing place. I know folks will disagree. Heaven opens up to me when it's me and the moon and the stars are talking to Jesus through a bottle of Jack. I'm talking to Jesus. An extra glass in case he comes back. When I'm talking to Jesus through a bottle of Jack.
Jyka, that song is beautiful. And thank you for writing it and sharing this personal story. It's very touching, and I'm sure he's looking down at you and is very, very proud.
I know he is, and I mean, thank you so much for for playing that song.
Yeah. And you know, the official video and it has that nature feel, and it really brings everything you just said to life on video. And it's beautiful. And I encourage everyone listening to check out the official video for that song. Where was that filmed?
The funny thing is that it was actually just filmed around my house in Finland. I mean, that's where I live. I wanted to kind of keep that story in that environment, and it was filmed by a very good friend of mine, Kalle, I mean, he's done all my videos, and we decided that we just need to stay where my home is. So that's filmed around my house in Finland.
Well, it's beautiful. I want to switch gears because I don't know. People have heard me say, I think I'm addicted to social media. I don't know. I looked at your Instagram and I saw you had some pictures of some of your tattoos.
Mhm.
And I love to ask artists about their tattoos.
Yep.
So if you don't mind, can you talk about a few of them that you've dedicated to your dream of becoming a country music star and musician in Nashville? And can you talk about some of those tattoos? They're so cool.
Yeah, I mean, first of all my tattoos do have a story. I don't have any tribal things or anything that doesn't really relate to my life or my story. I have a big Merle Haggard on my shoulder, and it says Working Man Blues. And that's the cover of the tape that I got at Christmas 1978. I actually tracked down that tape for years and years because I lost it. And I wanted to have that exact photo of Merle Haggard on my shoulder because that was kind of the start of my life and love with country music. So I have the same exact tattoo on my
Wow.
shoulder. We have horses in Finland. We own a couple of those, or we actually own only one at the moment. So we lost one of them, and I have this. I've always wanted to have this old 1920s, 30s kind of. It was an old radio ad. So I saw that horse once, and when we lost one of our horses, I wanted to kind of tattoo that in my arm and with her name on it. And it says small town, big time, because I mean that's what I am. I'm a small town blue collar kid from Finland. Not that different from the small town blue collar kids here in the United States. I also have this. I'm a bass player, so I have this kind of a Fender bass logo, but it instead of Fender it says family. I'm a family man. What else I have? The funny story is that my grandpa, who actually taught me how to build things and do woodwork, he looked like Jack Daniels. And I remember when I was a kid, he was going out in a grocery store and he never left the house without having a suit and a hat and the perfect mustache. And I have him on my shoulder, but it's kind of on inside a Jack Daniels logo. Because I mean, I wanted to have it there because he uh, he passed away a few years ago. He had a terrible Alzheimer's, and he didn't really talk for the last few years of his life. I mean, he was institutionalized, and me and my mom, we used to go and see him a lot. I remember one of the last times that I saw him. Me and my mom was called in. Like it was kind of getting closer the time when he'd probably not be with us anymore. Uh, and after a few years of totally not talking at all, he said something that I remember from my childhood when we were doing all kind of woodworking in his downstairs to his house. That's the reason. I mean, he's the reason why I was able to build my own house and do all that. I mean, such a great memory, and he looked like Jack Daniels. So that's why I have him. I mean, as I said, every single uh, tattoo that I have has a story behind it. I have a Nashville skyline uh, uh, for a reason. That I had that one when I decided that one day I will be here. So that was kind of my motivation tattoo for myself.
Well, thank you for sharing. I love every one of those tattoos you have, and the stories are even, better. We it's great, and I really appreciate it. I want to hear what you have on the horizon, and what can your fans expect from Jyka in 2025? Working on any projects?
Yes. I mean, we just decided this week, no, last week, that my next single is going to be a song called Headed for a Good Time. So, and we're going to put that one out in, I would say, early May. It's all mixed, all mastered. We have a lot of songs. I mean, I think we are somewhere close to 60 songs ready. We've been really productive with Dale and Dan, and I mean all of the people that I've had a chance to write with. Um, I'm heading back home for a while. I have some shows in Finland. A friend of mine, LV Shane, is gonna be coming to Europe at some point, so I'm gonna join with him, probably as a bass player for some of the shows, and probably having me as a support or opening act for LV for a couple of shows. I'm heading back here somewhere mid July, August, having another radio tour. Also, we've been looking at starting having shows here because I mean I've only had writers rounds and that kind of shows here, so we're looking at finding the right guys to actually have a full band shows here as well.
Well, this is exciting. And I really appreciate you being on the show today. And I look forward to having you back again
I'd
to
love to.
keep us, yeah, to keep us updated and what you're doing. And enjoy the rest of your time in Nashville. And Jyka, I always say at the end of my podcast, that's a wrap.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I absolutely enjoyed every single moment. And yeah, let's see what the future holds. I'm really excited.
Me too. Thanks again.
Thank you.